The story of Great Escape in 1941 from Elgin Road House. We know Subhas Bose. He went away from Elgin Road House in midnight, and the story came first into light from Cecil Bose. Whatever we know, this is a long journey. This is a long journey to West India via Kabul, Peshawar to Russia, and from Russia to Germany. And purpose was to form an army to fight British. And prior to that, we see he is confined to the house of Elgin Road. So,
After release from the prison cell.
after release
House
from
in
prison.
charge.
So, this kind of journey and this kind of purpose, to fulfill it, it needs a great, long and comprehensive planning, manpower. And the story we get from Cecil Bose, just somehow to reach Gomo, as if reaching Gomo, that means everything's okay. So how can we believe it?
It was a long journey, no doubt. With many parts, first part, middle part, the end part. Maybe he was entrusted in the first part. No problem. But whatever I have read from this Mohaniskramon by Shishir Kumar Bose and the Great Escape, it's difficult to digest these stories because there are many holes. Many holes. I will mention these holes. It is difficult to digest the fact that the color of the car, the number plate of the car was not changed. And from the very residence, which is surrounded by different rings of British India police guards to prevent his exit, such a car without a change of the number plate and the color could come out maybe in the midnight, and the man driver is Shishir Bose, who was just a young third year medical student at that time, and he has no camouflage. And number two, the narration how they step by step proceeded out of the campus. Is it recreatable? And you see the subsequently when Cecil Bose is arrested, what is the charge against him? The charge against him is only he is a forward bloc sympathizer. At that time, thousands of forward bloc personnel was arrested. He is one of them. There was not that specific charge that he helped the escape of Subhas Bose. That was the most dangerous charge, if that could have been. And you see, when Cecil applied to the authority why he has been arrested, in response to that, R. Tottenham, the additional secretary of the government of India, his answer is as it is in the volume of the Great Escape, printed here in page 46. In pursuance of section 7 of the Ordinance 3 of 1944, you, Shishir Bose, are informed that The grounds of your detention are that you are acting in a manner prejudicial to defense of British India in as much as in collaboration with the members of the West Bengal volunteer group and others you are actively engaged in a manner calculated to assist Subhas Chandra Bose and Japanese. You are informed that you have the right to make a representation in writing against the order under which you are detained. If you wish to make such a representation, you should address it to the undersigned and forward it through the officer in charge in whose custody you have been placed as soon as possible. If that is the answer from the Additional Secretary of the Government of India, Mr. R. Tottenham, remember and see there is no specific charge that you, Mr. Sisiput, assisted Subhas Bose in his escape by driving the car from here to Gomu. There is my suspicion. And number 3, you see, this book has been written after long thinking, after about 25 years of the event. And other things is, you see, this time last year Honorable CM has declassified the Bengal police files on Bose and Bose family members. I am astonished to see there that the file related to this escape is not there. Assuming that the British police failed to check his exit. But there must be some file on this failure. And there must be some investigation why they failed, how the person escaped, who has helped those person to escape his home internment. The file, the required file, which is naturally to be there, quite natural to expect such a file and many files related to this chapter, because this escape of Subhas Bose has humiliated the prestige of the British Empire, the prestige of the British government. And after this escape, they will not form any inquiry and will not keep those records. It is impossible to imagine. These files are not there. That means clearly that these files have been destroyed, or these files has been kept somewhere else, because whatever facts are there, that is not good for the subsequent governments. And keep in mind that after the transfer of power, this West Bengal was governed by Congress, and the Congress government has destroyed many files which was not good for them, sweet for them. And then 34 years left rule has destroyed many files which was not sweet for them. And this file is definitely was destroyed at some time when they saw this is not good for them. And this is a very vital thing, the absence of such a file related to the escape of Subhas Bose in the British Bengal police files. And you see, whatever other documents we are getting from other sources of the then American intelligence or British intelligence, the escape story is completely different one. And one thing, Sisir Bose, assuming Sisir Bose has helped Subhas Bose to escape, then he is a revolutionary. And this revolutionary is presenting his activities in front of a international seminar in 70s. Is it the behavior of a revolutionary? In this country, many were involved in the revolution of fighting the British. I think no other revolutionary in this country has ever presented their activity in front of a international seminar. That has stuck in my brain. And other angle is I was looking to the escape of Subhas Chandra Netaji from Europe to Asia. His journey. You see, there are three different parallel ways were formed. One way was from Rome to Rangoon. 12 flights was tried, and that was done by the Rommel's Air Force. And that I have come across from a document from Washington, from Louis Fisher files from Princeton University. There, this have been disclosed in a letter by Koroni. This Koroni is a very vital man. This man was in India for 1 decade to keep contacts with Bose and other leaders in India. And the very moment in 41 when Bose was escaping from India to Afghanistan, then Moscow to Berlin, at that very moment, that month of January, Koroni was in embassy, Italian embassy in Kabul. That important. And when we are smelling Bose again in 45 and 46 in Moscow, this Koroni is the Italian ambassador in Moscow. That important. And from this Koroni's letter, I am coming across the fact that the Air Force of Mussolini tried 12 flights from Rome to Rangoon. That route was being prepared, whether this route can be taken by Netaji to come from Europe to Asia. One way. Second way is submarine, very popular story. That was tried, and the popular story goes as he ultimately has chosen that way, submarine way, from Europe to Asia. And there is a third way was being prepared. You'll be astonished to see. I have come across this from a file disclosed in a Moscow article. Here, the plan is Subhas Bose will leave Germany, will enter Switzerland, the neutral country. From there, he will enter the eastern part of Russia, the western part of Russia, then towards east, the Vladivostok, and then the crossing the channel to Japan. That is the way was being prepared. And you think for his journey, to enable his journey from Europe to Asia in 43, the three ways, parallel, different ways were prepared. Ultimately, as the popular story goes, he picked up the submarine way, not the land route, not the aircraft. And you see here, this is the character of the Netaji. This is the character of the Subhas Bose. Whenever he is in idea, he wants to plan something for his execution in project. He will have multiple ways, and multiple way will be divided into each way will be divided into different parts, and each part will interest someone, and he will take note that the person who is interested in one part does not know the person in the other part, so that his projects is safe and secure. If one man is arrested, the whole plan is not disclosed to the enemy. That's the precaution. And here you see, when he is planning to escape his home intern, such an important mission, where these other plans, parallel plans, still today in last 70 years, none has disclosed of any other part, and also any other person in this narration has come in the open to disclose their role. And definitely, if I assume Shishir Bose is the person who drove this car, whereas there is no other corroboration, and these are haunting me. Also, I am trying to find out some other papers on the secretary of Rabindranath Tagore and his writings. I'll give some clue from there. Also, some of Tagore, of the Mahakal, and also the government of that time, the government of at that time was in Bengal, the Fazle Haq government. Those papers are very important to disclose this mystery.